Economy. Ooh. This economy sucks. I don't know if you guys have seen all these videos popping up where everybody is saying how everything is so expensive and it's so hard to live, and yeah, yes, yes. Everything is so expensive. I went to buy lemons a couple days ago, and one lemon was like 89 cents, and I'm like, what the heck? When did lemons become 89 cents? What? It's crazy, guys. But one thing I want to say is, like, a lot of people are not living with below their means. They go overboard and like spend hella money, and then they're like coming on here and then saying all this stuff about how they can't afford to pay this, and their car note is like $800 a month. I don't understand that. What? That's some of the videos that I saw. And sometimes, YouTube and social media can make you feel like, oh my gosh, my life is just nothing, because you don't have this and you don't have that. And yeah, it's really yeah, the economy sucks. Everything is so expensive. Americans are struggling. You guys have seen the titles everywhere. People are crying everywhere on social media, and everything, the prices of everything is so high. ¿Cómo estás? So your name, it looks Asian, but you speak Spanish, or so everybody is struggling. The economy is. Have you guys seen those videos where people are screaming how they can't afford stuff? Oh, español. Okay, muy bien. Español. Okay, I like that. Yeah, my Spanish is decent. I got better with my in-laws, and then um, yeah. So that's the topic of the day. You guys can chime in. What are your thoughts? Things are expensive. People can't even afford rent. Oh, you don't speak English? Oh, wow, that's not good. That's gonna be tough. But you can translate and put it in the comments, right? The other thing was they were gonna make. I don't know. There was something that they say where Trump was gonna make English the official language or something, where you can't. I like jobs, you can't speak any other language or something like that. I don't know if you guys read that. I had to learn. I actually spoke English when I came here. The only difference is the English I spoke in Kenya was like more British. So it took some time to adjust to the American English. It took some time, but I was like the trunk. I would say boot, and the kids at school would be like, "What is that?" The boot. So English in itself, English is frustrating at times, guys. English is so there's so many different ways to say the same thing, and sometimes I get frustrated. And then, I'll talk to my husband, he'll laugh at me, and I'm like trying to say something, and then it comes out another way. Yeah, English is just it's sometimes it's Englishing, as Africans would say, Englishing, because my God, um, even when I'm teaching my son as he's reading and stuff, he's like, "But I thought this word was this one," and then he's yeah, a whole mess. So if you go to other countries, there's different types of English. Like people speak it differently. So adjusting took a while, guys. That's the topic of the day. Anybody wants to chime in? Um, yeah. But my whole family spoke English when we moved to the U.S. The only issue was that it was British English, so things are so different. Like, instead of saying like automobile, like I would say automobile, and when we came, and people are like, "You mean a car?" Caro. Coche, is it coche or caro? Which one? My Spanish, like I was so good at Spanish in high school. My teacher was like, "Wow, I was getting really good grades in Spanish." And we had this one guy that was competing with me, like, "You got an A, I'm gonna get an A too." So we'd be going back and forth with Spanish. And then for a long time, I took a break from speaking it really, and then I lost it. And then I met my husband later on. Then I'm like, I really need that Spanish to speak to his family members. His mom doesn't speak Spanish, English that well, so I had to adjust. But it was something. Um, but I want to learn Italian. I definitely speak. Italian is my next thing. French, I'm not even gonna bother with because that stuff is frustrating as hell. I can't. I just the tongue thing and trying to make sure yeah, that just makes me frustrated. My ex used to speak French and I would just enjoy it, but I just was like, I just can't do it. Now Italian, on the other hand, I feel like I could do it because it's almost like Spanish, but um, some words, the way they pronounce it is different, and then they mean, I think they mean different stuff. Or somebody correct me if you speak Italian. What's different between Spanish and Italian? Italiano, Italiana, Italiano. I don't know, but yeah. So I know sometimes when you see people on social media, they look like everything's perfect, everybody's doing well, and I want to be real. Like, me and my husband have struggles. Um, we have everything we need as far as a roof over our head, food, and things like that. But there's things that we don't get to enjoy. Like, we don't have a new car. We've had used cars back to back, and he fixes them most of the time. Like, anytime they break down, he knows what to do, and so that's been really helpful. But if I was with somebody who didn't know how to fix a car, I don't know. So, so we always laugh. The car makes like weird noises, and we just laugh it off because at this moment it's like, no, we can't. He's the only one. He's the one who's making an income right now. I've been staying home with our son, and I'm just now looking for work. So right now the car we have is old, and he makes weird noises. That's the reality. So I might look like fabulous on here as a YouTuber, but there's struggles. Okay, food is never an issue, thank God. We're happy in spirit. Things are great in that way, but there's things that we just don't have. We don't get to have luxurious vacations. um I would love for all of us to go to Africa, but that's gonna take a while, um and visit. But right now, no. What else? I do a lot of stuff for myself. Like, as far as like me trying to look good, I do a lot of stuff by myself. I do my own hair. I don't have eyebrows, so I draw them in. I try to take care of my skin, so I don't have to pay money for skin. Just I Google stuff, things that you can do on your own that you don't need to spend. Like, I stopped going to the salon years ago. I've been doing my own hair for the past couple of years. As far as eating better, like, you know, um, like when people say like they need gym memberships and all that, you don't really. You can work out at home and find ways of getting a workout. Like, I love to walk. I walk a lot, so that helps me to try to keep some shape. So we don't need to pay for a gym or anything like that. My husband is pretty slim. He just walks for health, and once in a while he'll lift his weights, but he's a slim guy, so it's just for his heart and all that stuff. But um so we cut down. There's a lot of times that we cut down we don't get to enjoy, because times are harder, yeah. But also we're not living beyond our means. I shop at Ross, TJ Maxx, and all those places. That's where I'm at. So all these outfits that I'm showing are usually from those stores. So we don't live beyond. I stopped going to Starbucks every morning because that used to be my thing, and now I make coffee at home. It's very delicious. The Nescafe one is the best. I love that coffee, instant coffee, and I put a little bit of just a little ice and make my iced coffee, or drink it warm. And yeah, I don't have to go to Starbucks. I used to be the person that would be at Starbucks 3 times a day when I was working, and I stopped that quick when I became a mom because it just there was no point to it. I started making coffee at home. So these are some of the things we do to try to cut down on, to cut down on spending money, so that you're not like going, oh my gosh, my car payment is like $8,000 a month. I can't afford rent. It's like, yeah, because your car is. So it's been a lot of these videos. I'm just like, people are literally like, it's true. Things are expensive. Times are hard. But there's people that are also just, it's not making sense. Like this, if you're a single person, sometimes you can have a roommate, right? And split the rent somehow. Like if you have kids, it's one thing, but you're spending like almost 2,000 plus on rent, and you might have to cut that in half and have somebody, right? I don't know. You have to be creative. But I know as women, like we tend to spend money on different things for beauty and all that. So that was where I cut down a lot. I just was like, I don't do my nails often. I do my toenails though. I always have my nails looking good on my toes. My nails are always clipped, and that's it, or whatever you call it. Um, so those are some of the ways that I cut down. And just the internet is so useful. You can find so many different ways to save. There's like videos where people show you like how you can get like the library. You could get so much stuff from there. Like there's books now online that you can get from the library that you can read. There's libraries that offer like things that are happening, like festival thing information that you can go to that are free. You can use your library card for certain things. I learned all this reading because I'm like, okay, we gotta try to cut down on stuff. The one thing I could say I splurge on is, even though I go to Ross and TJ Maxx and all that, I do spend a lot of money on clothes because I say that because I do videos on fashion, so I try to wear new things, and that is one thing that is kind of hard at the same time. But or even that, you can go to thrift shops. You can go to the clearance racks. You can also, there's people that are always having yard sales. You could go there, and they sometimes have clothes. You have to wash them though. Um, you can there's so many different ways to try to save money. If you are struggling and stuff like that. Um, I also saw videos where everybody's getting mad about EBTs now. People have to work and all that stuff, and I'm like, there's videos people losing, like going crazy because they don't have EBT because they're not working. And yeah, it's a lot of videos coming up right now, so that's a whole situation too. Yeah, people are like, I don't have anything to eat, how am I going to feed my kids and all this stuff, and it's just like, but then some of these people do social media, and I'm thinking social media pays you, and you actually have to do, if you make a certain amount, you have to do your taxes, so you can use that for income. I'm thinking, I don't understand the whole thing. It's like, if TikTok pays you, you should be able to file your things and put your social in there, and they take a certain amount of taxes, so you should be able to claim that as work so you can get your benefits, I would think. But I don't know that. It's just a lot. Another thing that it's like certain things, like certain tricks, like there's people that say, like, if you're ordering food, there's certain ways to order them so that you get them cheaper, like the Starbucks drinks. There's a way to cut that cost. Instead of $8 for like a grande, for a venti, you can get the price of a grande. A lot of people do that. So you ask for drinks like in a venti cup, but get the grande size and put certain things in it. Like you'll get a splash of like almond milk or whatever, and there's a way to cut it down. Like a sprinkle of cinnamon or something, and ice and all that in espresso. Because one time I ordered a drink like that, and it was only $4 instead of $8. So I used to be the person that would get the big cup and just pay the full price, until I found all these videos on TikTok where everybody's like giving you ways to save up on your drinks. If you really don't want to make that coffee at home, then there's ways to get it lower, especially on the app. I think the app does a good job of that. You could just check everything and calculate, so you're not spending like $10 for one drink. Um, I enjoy cooking, so cooking for me helps me a lot to cut down. Me and my husband don't go out that often. So I usually try to cook at home, and that's been useful, and I really enjoy it. So we don't spend a lot of time on like a lot of money on constantly going out to eat. So that's been really great. But I know there's people that eat out a lot, and there's people that have. Oh, hi! Your hi went all the way. But yeah, I've been. I give myself credit. We've been really doing like way better as far as not spending so much money on things that are just, you know, because it's one thing to struggle, but also there's things you can do to cut down. But also they were bringing up that a lot of people really just it's an ego thing. They feel like, oh my gosh, what are people gonna think that I'm making coffee at home instead of Starbucks? But at the end of the day, if you really are struggling on your bills, you have to figure out a way to cut costs and some find ways to cut stuff. And if you're in debt and you have debt to pay, you got to figure out a way. So sometimes not shopping really. I did really good last year where I didn't buy a lot of clothes because I was just using whatever I had to do a lot of my videos, and it helped me a lot. So I wasn't spending like back to back, at Ross and all that. So that's one thing you can do. Let's see. What other things have I done to try to help down? And it's a splurge. Like once in a while, like we'll get things as a treat. Like my husband got me this purse that was really nice. It was like 100 something, which is kind of pricey. I usually buy like a $20 handbag. I don't care, but he, splurged and got me a nice handbag, and that was really nice. So once in a while, it's okay, but not all the time. Like, you know, try to save up. But that's the topic of the day. So there's been a lot of those videos. What else? Oh, you can sell your items. That's the other thing I've been. I have a bunch of clothes that I'm going to be selling online, so you can sell some of your stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of websites that you can sell your used things, and get some money out of them and buy newer stuff. You know, so I've cleaned up my closet last a couple months ago, and they're gonna go to donation, and a lot of them I'm gonna try to sell. So that should say I should get some money back instead of just donating them. I have some things that are barely used that are just have been sitting there, so I'm gonna try to sell those. Because there's also stores that take some stuff that they can give you money for. We have a lot of those here in California that you can just take things that are kind of trendy, and they'll take it and give you money for them. You said a guava drink? What does that mean? What does guava drink mean? Guava drink? I love guava drink though. I drink a. Oh, you just had a guava drink? Okay. I also like passion fruit, the passion fruit one. Yeah. But that's pretty much, guys. So, oh, it was just a lot of people that are posting videos saying how everything is so expensive, and how they're struggling to pay bills. But also, I was saying that a lot of them are not cutting down on cost. So, if you have a car payment that's $800 a month, that's already your whole income. Yeah, it's inflation, but some people are also not responsible in some ways. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, you have to live below your means right now. Really, it's not about your ego and all that. You have to figure out how to cut costs. So I was saying how you don't have to buy Starbucks every day. You can make that at home and take it with you. you know, and not shop so much on things you don't need. So that's what it is. So a lot of people are like, I make like this amount of money a month and I still can't afford anything because everything is, which is true. But also, you also have to go down. Yeah, but $800. Some people are spending that on just their car payment. So that's already a problem. So that means you, let's say you make it $3,000 every 2 weeks or whatever. I don't know how. Yeah, it's different for certain. Some people make it weekly, I think, or whatever. Or some people make it a month. Some people make it. Yeah, I don't know how it's different, right? So if your car payment is already that high, that's kind of hard. You working for the car payment. Fast food is, yeah, that's another thing, and that's what I was saying. I cook because at the end of the day, I'm like, like when we go to a drive-through, the three of us, we end up like what, maybe $60 almost, and that 60 you can get some grocery stuff. Like beans are super cheap. You could get, I buy a lot of rice in the big, and just keep it there. Chicken, the whole chicken, cut it up and freeze it, so you can always make stews. You can take some of the breast and make, like saute it. So there's different ways, right? You could cut down a lot of things, but some people just feel like they don't want to because people are gonna think, oh my gosh, I'm broke, I don't have money, and it doesn't matter. Who cares? um you know and just the dollar store. Sometimes there's certain things that you can get there that you don't have to go to Target or Walmart for. Now, I'm not saying the dollar store is not actually cheap, if you think about it, because sometimes some of the things are cheaper at Walmart versus the dollar store. So you might find it for like 89 cents at Walmart versus the dollar store that's $1. So I don't know. Yeah, fast food is, yeah. Yeah, and that's what's happening. It's like it's getting it's getting hard to, like, there was a time, I think, when people felt like, when you came here you could work really hard and get a lot of things, and now people are like, well, we are working hard, but it's still not enough. So to enjoy that life that they really want, it's kind of like you sacrificing some stuff. So it's like, what? That's, yeah. Yeah, a lot of, even people in Africa, like, they'll tell you, I want to come to the US so I can make money, which is fine. The only thing is that money now is just like, you're at work most of the time and you're not even enjoying that money. So that's another issue. Yeah, and a lot of people might not even have retirement, and that it's scary. So it's like the money you have to put it aside just in case, and also have enough to try to take care of your bills, your basic needs. Um, so it's just a real, like, sometimes I'm just like, I look outside and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, things are not good. Um, yes, you try to be positive, but things are really not good. I just, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, it's not looking so, like, you can be positive, but it's just getting, I don't know how to explain it, what the word is, but it's, yeah, it's, people are really stressed. People are really like people, it's like, people spend a lot of their time at work, but it's also that they're not getting, oh, earn daily and eat daily. What? Okay, that's, yeah. So it's, what is it, paycheck to paycheck? And so, when people look at social media, they think everybody's doing so well, and they're like, oh my gosh, my life sucks because some YouTuber is showing how they're living so lavishly. But some of that is fake too, because YouTubers, oh my God, I don't want to talk about YouTube. I always try to not to, but it's like I end up, but there's a lot of YouTubers that are renting things, and people think they buy them. So they rent cars, they rent houses to use for just the videos, and then, or their friends' houses, because a lot of people have come out and say, oh, I know that person, that's not really their house, like, just to fake it, to do a video so that they can get the views, but they're not really living, and that can catch up to you too. At some point, people will catch up, and people are very good about picking up on when you're being like fake and stuff. They'll pick it up. Um, so people that the other thing that was somebody brought up was like how many so many YouTubers are now. A lot of the women are getting pregnant back to back, and sometimes it's not about that they just love having a large family, but more of yeah, yeah, New York, yeah, New York City is expensive. They said a lot of YouTubers who are getting pregnant back to back because they get sponsorships for having the kids. So they'll continue just having a lot, and it's not because they just have they love a large family. A lot of them are just it's kind of like a tactic to try to get more of the same scholar, sponsorships, and to get views so that they can get continue to get paid. So it's kind of like using being pregnant for that, and it's kind of it bothers me. Because I think if you want to have kids because you love having a family, not because there's some other thing that you're trying to do. So there's YouTubers that are using kids now to do that. They get the same, like, oh, Disney sponsors them to take the kids to the trips. So some are using that, where they just are always having babies back to back, back to back, and a lot of people, some of them have gone in their comments and tell them like this is out of control now, like what? Um, so that's been there, but there's YouTubers that are now some are begging, like literally telling people like, yeah, but the remote jobs, some of them, like if you're especially like a stay-at-home mom like me, like I want to be outside. That's why I'm applying for jobs outside because I've been home with my son for the past couple of years, and now that he's getting a little older and he's going to school, I don't need to really be home. I'm kind of tired. I want to be outside. I want to have a balance of both. I want to be able to, you know. So work from home is cool. I understand that, but I'm also a people person. I want to be outside. I can't just be on a phone like just typing away by myself every single day. It just for me it's just not for me. That's why I like to find things that are outside. That's what I'm looking for right now. Yeah, but it's helpful for schedule. Yeah, you can go pick up your kids whenever and all that, but I don't know. It feels like you're not leaving like it's like you're not leaving work. You clock out of the computer, for example, and the kids are back home now and you just kind of continue. So you're just home. And for me, home being home constantly is just it's not good for me. I start getting anxious and I need to be somewhere else. So I realized that it's just not for me. I tried it one time and I didn't I just started feeling it's kind of lonely. Like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's not for me. But it does save. Yeah, you save on gas, but on all that. But yeah, like I just started feeling really weird. Like it's like I felt like I was, even though I wasn't talking to myself, I felt like I was talking to myself, and I'm just like, I wanted to scream because I'm like clocked in at a certain time and you can't leave at a certain time, kind of like you have to do all this stuff, and then and then the time would just go so fast. Before I know it's like my son is back from school, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything, and my head was just start feeling like I just needed to be outside for a little bit. I needed to do something else. So it's just like, yeah. So it's not everything is for everyone. That's really what I could say. Yeah, like just even getting up out of your chair to go get a coffee and come back and sit down and look out the window and just do all this stuff. It feels if you're not a homebody, like working from home is not that easy. Some people really like being home. I don't like it as much. I like a balance. I like to be home sometimes, but I can't be home all the time. I need to go outside and do something. So when I was like clocked in at a certain time, a couple hours, I'm just there and I can't really move. I have to finish everything, and so I realized like I need a balance. I need both. Like if I could do both, being home and working too outside, so it's like a both job where that allows you to do that. That would be awesome. I would love that. Yeah, that would be so awesome. That would be my dream. Yeah, to have both of that. I like that balance. I would love it. So I'll try to look for more of those. But usually it's like maybe once you get some of them are just like, oh, every Saturday you can work for. I don't know. It's like they're usually not back to back, but yeah. What time is it? I gotta eat lunch. Okay, I'm gonna go and eat lunch, and I'll talk to you in another chat or another live stream.